I was always interested in music, and most of my need for music I was filling over the records in this time. And I thought every grown-up person should have made a record once, or at least every musician. And then I thought, I have everything it needs to make a record. I have my hands, I have my eyes, I have my imagination. It has this simple form and shape. And if I draw the line, the groove, the record groove with a pencil, it's a quite good image of a record. And this groove contains this promise of sound to me. So for one, I literally produce records. I'm a record producer, you could say. Also, I just make a representation of this record, but it looks quite like a record. And if this is convincing enough, a sound is generated, at least in the viewer's head. And this invention, so to say, makes me proud that I'm able as a visual artist to produce sound in the viewer's head. And in these regards, my records work as real records because they contain sound.
Is it always an expectation of sound in one form or another when you work with a record?
Yeah, definitely. It's just visual. I'm convinced that if I am able to produce a sound in the viewer's head, it's a very personal sound. It's the sound only the viewer hears and produces. And so with one image that I do, I can produce potentially millions of sounds, and all of them will be very personal, depending on the mind of the viewer. This is something I enjoy in doing.
But isn't it also a record of memory and a way of being in time?
It has to do with the time that I preserve in that grooves. Strange enough, it's in both languages. We are talking in English now. Mm-hmm. It's called to keep record of something. So the recorded thing is stored, and so it keeps whatever in record at hands. And in German language, it's called Aufzeichnung, which means drawing. And since I do draw the record groove, I make a recording, an Aufzeichnung, and literally can say it is a recording.
I had the idea that your work with time would be rather close to Bergson's idea about duration.
The record gives such a good image for a complex question like this. Because it starts on the outer grooves, and then it goes consequently to the center. Strange enough, the center of a record is empty, because that's where it needs to be put on a record player. But so it centers an empty hole, and the content goes it doesn't go in circles. It goes in a spiral, so it goes further to the center, but in a repeated perpetual motion. And again, this is also part of this simple but genius structure of a record. Visual or formal quality of the drawn records show the time and contemplation which was needed to, for one, I have to concentrate to be in line and to continue that line, and on the other hand, it's very contemplative. And in fact, recently I realized that only while I'm working on my art, I'm able to reflect myself as an artist. My works are rather conceptual. It's rather conceptual art than painting or graphics, for example. But at the first glance, they look quite easy going into. And this is deliberately done because I want the concept to be experienced. And the viewer just takes the time to go from the surface to the concept. It needs to attract him or her for that while. And then I want them to have this adventure of going deeper into that levels of, as I said, cultural relations to each other, and this game of what art is. It plays with this rich cosmos of culture that we have.
You mentioned caring for objects and upcycling.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I see it like this. If I use a found image, could eventually be an aquarelle, which is an original. Many of them are just reproductions, as I said. It gets upcycled and recycled. It gets another chance to be seen because it was done by an artist once, and then it ends up at the flea market. And I could give it another limelight and another glimpse. And it's also a bit like in music, like the assembling, for example, that parts of music that had been popular once but forgotten could be used in parts by contemporary artists and musicians and give them another public and a second chance.
You made your own label for your records. What did you call it?
It's Soul Source Records. Yeah, of course. I decided that I will produce my Soul Source Records, and then I also made the label, so the logo, which is a trumpet or a horn that blows, and I'm very content with it.